Thank you so much for sticking with Daybreak. It's now time to discuss matters of the heart because this is Social Square, and because thank God it is Friday, today's conversation is a bit more relaxed. 22422, that's our SMS line at Citizen TV Kenya, @Zinzi_K. We're asking you this morning, is age just a number when it comes to a relationship? Is age a factor in a relationship? There you go. Is age a factor in a relationship? Talk to us, use the hashtag Daybreak. That's your ticket into the conversation. Let me just set the stage for you before we even meet our audience this morning, just to give you a highlight of how big an influence different ages are. And these are probably people you know, your favorite celebrities, even your favorite politicians perhaps. Johnny Depp and his wife, the actor, apparently they have a 23-year age difference. Donald Trump and his wife, Melania, they have a difference of 24 years. French President Emmanuel Macron and his wife, I'm guessing about another 20-something years. Angela Jolie and her previous husband before they broke up, 12 years age difference. Beyonce and Jay-Z, 12 years age difference. That's just to give you an idea of what age means in a relationship. And we have fantastic Kenyans here with us, young Kenyans, to help us just have this chit-chat. And I'll let them introduce themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by thanking you so much for being here on this Friday morning and being part of this discussion. Dr. Susan Gitau, let me begin with you. If you could take the microphone. Every row has a microphone. Is age just a factor? And then even as you introduce yourself, just answer that for me. Is age a very important issue in a relationship?
It is.
How so?
Well, even though we have statistics that are different from one country to another, from one region to another, you realize they will always show that there is actually an influence. Although in general, men tend to marry or relate with people younger than them for reasons probably we are going to really discuss in depth here. Although the trend today, you're finding very young people relating with very old women. But why? You know, the rationale behind that needs to be investigated. It's a sad situation that in Africa and quote in Kenya, we don't do these statistics. We don't do this research. Because if we did, right now, if we are quoting any statistics here, it would be statistics from the West. And still, what happens in the West, you'll find even in Kenya it's happening. It's only because in Kenya we are used to knowing of old men and young women. But the truth is, if you go to the West, it's also happening. Because there is this research that has been done over and over again, that if you're an older man, you marry a younger woman, your life expectancy increases.
Really?
And vice versa. and probably this, and for women, if you marry, sometimes relating, because it could be out of convenience, especially what we are seeing now is a trend, that I'm with an older woman because I need financial stability. I need, once she sorts me out, I can always leave her. Unlike where now you marry. When you talk about marriage, it's a long-lasting relationship. What happens? You will find for a younger woman, when the man is old, she can easily nurture this man, even in old age. So you see now how the life expectancy increases, and the risk factor for the woman if you marry a younger man. Because along the way, it's very difficult. You find a younger man with an older man walking even in the streets or going to church together, but you will find the vice versa without giving
any problems.
Oh yes, yeah.
All right, let's listen to the rest. Monica Nyambura, as you introduce yourself and your title, let me know what you think about age in a relationship.
My name is Nyambura, and I'm a business person, and I'm gonna speak from experience because I'm currently dating someone who is 20-something years older than me.
Yes, dear.
But before this, I was dating someone who is 6 years younger than me. And I don't think the reason it didn't work out is because of age. So I don't think, I think it's from person to person, because if it worked with someone who was 6 years younger than me, and it's working with someone who is 20 years older than me, then I don't see what the age difference, where the age difference comes in.
Right. Thank you so much for being honest. All right, let's get feedback from the rest, even as they introduce themselves.
Hi.
Hello.
My name is Cheryl Marcia.
And you look beautiful.
Thank you.
What do you think about this issue? Is age just a difference in relationship? Does it matter? As you also give us your title as well.
Oh, okay. My name is Cheryl. I am an administrator. Does age matter? Yes, I think it really does. It has a lot to do with pretty much everything, because of should I say experience, or rather how people are.
Yes.
For instance, let's say I am 30 years old. I have been through this life for 30 years. You have been, probably my partner is 20 years old. They have been through this life for 20 years. So, and with realization that time, there's a lot that comes with time. So trends change, so many factors to be considered.
Right.
So, simply put, I'd say generational gap is something that should really be considered, because the struggles I have as a young woman in her 20s is not the same struggles that a young girl in probably who's in, let's say, who's like 10 years old does not have the same struggles I have. So yeah, I think age really matters.
Right. Do you recall whether you've dated someone either older, way significantly older, or younger than you?
Dated. Not really.
No,
it was a situationship.
Yeah, it was a situationship.
A situationship.
Okay.
Yes, I was 21. The person was 30. Yes.
Okay.
The other one, I was in high school. I dated someone who was a year younger.
Okay.
And it was still a struggle. And I was in high school, so I can't imagine it right now.
Susan is laughing. All right, let's get the gentleman's reaction. I'm told you also wrote a book in regards to relationships.
Oh, yes.
As you tell us your names and also. There you go. All right.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Kenya. My name is Johnston Chumwa, an author and life coach. I also do publishing. I'm into business. Yes, age difference matters. I'll give this a yes and no, whether it matters or not. And I will start this with some statistics about age difference. Some scientists did sit and come up with some findings, and these were their findings. They found out that couples born within 12 months of each other only had 3% chances of breaking up. 5-year gaps, 18%. 10-year gaps, 39%. 20-year gap, 95%. So the bigger the age gap, the higher the chances of breaking up.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we're going to explore more of this.
Yes, we
need to explore.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's the word. And where the statistics are from. But actually, we need to explore that.
All right. Laura, you already have a lapel. Go ahead, introduce yourself and let us know what you think.
My name is Karira Laura. I am a gospel musician. I am soon to graduate from the University of Kenyatta University, taking a degree in food nutrition and dietetics. And I think I am also among the newest faces in these Royal Media corridors. I now host Bambika.
Yes. I hope you're enjoying it.
I am enjoying it.
Fantastic.
Really loving it. I host Bambika with the amazing gentleman Holiday, DJ Gigi, Timeless Noel, every Sunday 11 to 1 p.m. Yeah. And I think age matters. It does to an extent. And also I think as we continue to explore the topic, we'll see also context matters, because if you look at a 18-year-old and a 28-year-old, they're in different places in life. But a 25-year-old and a 35-year-old could be in almost the same frame of mind. So I think context also matters.
Context also matters.
Yeah.
Nyambura, let's come to you. Is there a big difference? Would you agree with what Laura has said, given the two examples you had given us earlier?
I think so. Context does come into play, because I'm 33, so I feel like the experiences I've had so far, I can relate with someone 20 years older than me more than I could have when I was 25, because of course I've developed emotionally, and I've collected some experiences that even though we are in different generations, I'm an adult and he's an adult.
And exactly. So this issue of maturity when it comes to age in a relationship, would you tell there's a big difference of maturity between when you dated the person who's 20 years older than you and the one who was 6 years younger than you?
I was lucky because the person who was 6 years younger than me is very emotionally intelligent and mature. So
beyond his age.
Beyond his age. So we never at any point had an issue with age. Actually, sometimes I felt like maybe he was older than me emotionally. So I was lucky in that manner. That's why I said it depends from person to person, because you would find a 35-year-old with the emotional intelligence of a 25-year-old.
Or someone who is older but the maturity level is way lower.
Yeah.
All right. So Dr. Susan Gitau, is that
I'm almost being tempted to ask her, why did you go to the other one? Anyway, she will explain.
Was it also a situationship?
I was actually engaged.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, to the one who was 20 years older, the one who was 6 years younger.
6 years younger.
Oh man. All right. Dr. Susan Gitau.
Now there's another one.
You know, there's something you said earlier.
Yes.
That, you know, a guy will date a younger woman because it makes them happier. And the fact that as he's getting older, there's sort of that balance in a relationship. And also, when I was doing my research, I found out that a man who will be happier with a younger woman. Is this true?
This is
Nyambura,
true.
would you agree with that statistics? I'll come back to you, but let me start with Dr. Gitau. Is it
Yes,
true?
I would agree to some extent because women or the female gender is born with some nurturing hormones. We have it naturally, the oxytocin, such that if you're required to care for somebody, you would care for them. Unlike for a male who doesn't have it, so he has to work very hard to actually get it. And I would want to comment also on what she said about a younger male that she dated, 6 years younger, and she liked the way he was arguing. We really need to know that in a relationship, what makes people tick, it is the intellectual engagement. So you might find a young man at the University of Nairobi who is 20 or even 18 or 21, but he's very smart the way he's talking.
Right.
And it can actually cheat you that this person is mature because they are making you get to a level of a very haughty discussion, and you get into it until the reality starts ticking. That like, wow, what am I doing with this old woman? Wow, if in case we get married, for how long are we going to enjoy it, you know? But I also want to talk about the age bracket. For women, when we talk about a 28-year-old, they have had a lot in the relationships. And when we talk about a young man, 30 years, he's also interacted. We always give like a 2-year age difference, where you find that a woman matures faster than a man because of so many other factors. So it's important to know after 30, anybody, if they have had normal relationships and they have interacted in a social setting and where you experience different people, you're not going to be the same. You can actually get that old man and you're like understanding so many things. We had a very hot discussion yesterday but one in one of the vernacular stations here, and you could hear the young women saying, if my wife is too old and too tired to remind me of my diabetes drugs and all that, the younger one who is chap is going to remind me. And nobody wants to die, by the way, young. Nobody wants to die without being cared for. And men are notoriously in need of that kind of affection.
Right. But then here's the other question. How is it that you make sure, especially in a relationship where you have an age gap that is a bit bigger from 10 going above, how do you make sure that care doesn't turn out to parenting? Right. You don't want to be parented. So imagine yourself, let's paint an image. Here's this 25-year-old dating a 35-year-old. Age difference 10 years, give or take, right? So how do we make sure the 35-year-old, who is the guy, is not parenting the 25-year-old? And the 25-year-old is taking what you're doing, caring, but also is also not parenting, vice versa.
No, that's where I'm saying, if you don't know, you get into a relationship and you're not taking care of all the factors, what is going to happen, reality just sets in. And most people are not able to deal with reality. Because you will find if somebody married, like I was 30 years, I married somebody who is like 16-year-old. I've had these discussions in my therapies, whereby you find the man or the woman is still thinking, this is the person they got. Young as they were, vulnerable as they were, is the same one. And especially for men, I want to talk about men and the younger women, because they're the majority, even in therapy, even in the whole world. More men than women marry younger mates. So you find that you will get to a level, the same thing you used to tell her, you still want to tell her even when she's 40 years or 35 years and you married her maybe at 20. So what happens is that it's not a marital relationship anymore. It is a parenting relationship. And somebody will feel it in the gut feeling that I am not in a healthy relationship, because the way I'm feeling I am a mother or a father to so and so, instead of me feeling I'm an equal. So these are the things we are saying, because Kenya now is embracing marriage and family therapy, that even for her, you know, that it's important that everything is clear. What happens to me at this age? And for women, you know, after 30 years, your love hormones, I just like using very ordinary terms, your love hormones start taking a nose dive. What happens, you know, if you got this young man who is feeling now at 30, I can do anything and everything in a relationship. Are you prepared? Because I guess for most people that is not a situation that they prepare for. And then it becomes a shock, and then a big conflict, and then a very big maybe fight between them. Plus the society, you know, like in Kenya today, because we are having these relationships, most of them is a trend. Like, I am here because of some benefits. It's not because it's more about affection, right? It's not because I really want to be in a marital relationship. It's because there are benefits that I am getting from this. You also find the context. In the West, it's not as serious as it is here. You will find very many people with very large age gap hiding. So when you hide about your relationship, are you happy?
Right. So Nyambura, talk to me. Would you relate with what Dr. Susan Gitau is saying? Did you feel at some point if you were being parented in the relationship?
I don't think so, because I'm dating someone who is very young at heart. So I don't even feel the cultural difference, or we typically have the same ideas about life. So we are able to blend our ideas very well. So I don't feel like he's my dad or he's in my dad's age group.
I hear you.
Yeah, I feel like it's someone who is in the same, I don't know, technology.
Do you feel like you are equal in that relationship?
Of course, I am. I'm a very strong person in who I am. So I don't feel like the dynamics put me, like the power dynamics put me in a lower position.
Right.
And he's also very accommodative of who I am. So I'm happy.
Right. Cheryl, would you agree? Remember that other relationship, the one for 6 years you told us about? The 6 years, it was 6 years age difference you mentioned earlier?
The situationship?
The situation, yeah. Let's call it that. The situation.
I was 21, he was 30.
He's 21, 30. Did you feel like you were parented? Did you feel like an equal in that relationship?
Very, very unequal. Very, very unequal. Because I think it all goes down to culture and values. How I am raised, how I was raised by my mom. Kila mtu mwenye ni mkubwa, you have to respect them. You know, so you get to a point, let's say you probably need to make a decision. And you have you say, probably probably your idea is right. But because this other person, anyway, they're older than you, you're like, hey, akina si tuliambiwa, we just we heshimu watu wenye ni wakubwa kutushinda. Right. So for me, that is a thing that was always lingering, because I'm like, this person has the wisdom of age, experience of youth, whatever. This one has seen life more than I have. So no, I was not feeling like an equal. Yes.
Johnson, do you hear that? You hear that she felt like she wasn't an equal. There's the issue of culture as well. How would you then start to advise maybe a young person who's in the same situation right now? What would they do moving forward?
I'll say this. When you are in a relationship where there's a significant age gap, there are things you need to understand. There are things you need to address yourself to comprehensively. Like, when you are younger, if you are the younger one, you will have to take the position of a caretaker. For example, if you are dating, in your 20s, and you are dating a man who is in
He's
late 60s.
Oh, well, that's a big
Okay,
deal.
well, that's
Okay, you want to let's bring it down a little bit. 40, 50.
Okay, if there's an age gap of 20 years, okay, 20-year gap. Well, let me say this: there are people who are younger at age, in their age, but they're very mature in the way they act.
Right.
Very mature. They exhibit maturity than those who are
Of that age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that if you are in a relationship with a person of a higher age and you are of a lower age, maybe an age gap of 15, 20, 30, then this issue of you should talk it out. You should have expectations. You should speak out your expectations, and you should not feel like, oh, I'm the lesser one.
Right.
You are equals.
I love that you can speak out your what is in your mind. But how do you communicate without parenting?
And do you always know?
Right.
Do you always really know what you want? I mean, I'm thinking about a 19-year-old who is being approached by a 27-year-old. Does this 19-year-old know even what she wants in this? She's just getting into the dating space. So how do I start to express my expectations? I don't even know what my expectations are.
Are young people in university cautious about the age? Is age a problem for them, for that generation?
I think it's from person to person, honestly, because I think it depends on values you uphold, maybe family, the way things are in your family. I mean, it's not a problem. In other places, it's like, never, don't you dare. So, so I think, but you know, we're also in that things, people are also starting to open their minds up nowadays. So
and being more accommodative.
To certain,
Right.
Yeah.
All right. We need to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will continue with this conversation. First of all, let's take a look at your feedback. 22422 at Citizen TV Kenya. We're asking you this morning as we're discussing matters of the heart. Is age just a factor in a relationship? Let's take a look at your feedback. All right, so you don't say who you are. Remember, if you're texting us on 22422, you can tell us your name and where you're watching from. You say age doesn't matter. Actually, I better date somebody older than me. Like, I'm 22, I would rather date someone who's 28 or 30 because dealing with an age mate is stressful. Let's take a look at Sir Nixon. You say on SMS that age is issue of mind over matter. Is an issue of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. Oh, Nyambura is agreed with you, rather. Fred says, I think nowadays love doesn't exist. Ladies are after money. Okay, the audience is already reacting to that comment. Let's take a look at Twitter at Citizen TV Kenya. The hashtag is Daybreak. Sam, good morning. You say, comparatively, age forms the backbone of productive, progressive relationship since it aids the individuals meet their biological, social, emotional, and spiritual nourishment. All right. DJ Stir 254, you say age matters, but not so basic. Maturity takes it all, which is true. Mendwa 6422 6232 is your username. You say true age is key factor, but nowadays money is becoming the key factor to consider in a relationship. Clearly, the money issue has come back again. When we come back from this commercial break, we'll get to discuss how significant of an age difference and what age difference is appropriate, given the fact that society, from what you've just heard, also plays a role. We'll be right back.